G'day and welcome to another edition of the Aussie Ideas Man. Once again, no script, talking off the top of my head. I don't like doing it, but it's the fastest way to go. This time I'm going to try and soften the snake oil salesman's voice every so often and see if I can just throw in some comments each time. It's a different way of doing it. I'll try anything, see if I can make something of it. So this is part 2B of the AOC video interview with Chris Anthony. Let's see how we go.
So when are you thinking, like, when you find these like small shops to make the frame and the suspension parts, how long is that going to take? Is it going to take a month to make it, 2 months to make it? Because I mean, we're waiting on that before we can have a drivable PI, right?
Yeah, I mean, the quickest frame quote we got was 22 days.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
But it ranges from, kind of 22 days to 12 weeks.
Right.
So we're trying to pick something that, matches our schedule. It's not, having it here too early doesn't help either. So paying money
Matches
to have it here
his schedule.
in, 3 weeks if we're not
What
ready
schedule?
for it with other components, that doesn't do anything either. So, but the electro team is making great progress, with the wiring harness and the drivetrain and all the, complementary
Great
electronics.
progress.
So
We hear that a
I
lot.
think in 2 or 3 weeks the EE team will be ready. So I think if we can get the frame parts here in a month or 6 weeks, I think that's probably a good bet to try to get those here.
We'll look for that month.
So
And
it
then
sounded like
load them up and
so kind of best case scenario, we should have like a PI drivable in about 2 months.
I think that's probably a good bet.
Okay. All right.
June, July, so into July, I wouldn't overpromise and say
Sure.
probably wouldn't be August. And September's not out of the question.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
we're excited to see all this stuff come together, and we want to
he's
drive
stretched
the
it
production
to
version as
September.
quickly as possible,
That's
too.
4 months, not
I
2.
think
And even then,
this is kind of where everything comes together.
no guarantees
I've had
for
a lot
anything.
of companies over the year. This is my 9th startup. I've been through battery development programs, and my first company was computer networking. But every company kind of have this vision for what the product is.
Mm-hmm.
Start making it, and eventually it just seems like things start clicking, and stuff starts to come together. And I've been through a bunch of boat projects where that happens, where you've worked on this thing for 6 months, and now all the pieces of the puzzle come together, and next thing you know, you're out on the lake wakeboarding behind it, and it all is working fabulously. So that's kind of the point where we're at now. We've done all the hard work the last 6 months, and now we're starting to get these parts in, and this is where the fun starts.
Okay, great. Because I know that at the very beginning there's a lot of unknowns, right? When you when you guys restarted this in late 2019, early 2020, there was a lot of unknowns, and there was some thought that maybe we would have customer vehicles by 2022 or something like that. Obviously, didn't happen.
We started with a very different vision for what the vehicle could be, and the way that we kind of conceived of the vehicle was 1 to 4,000 vehicles a year, and that's very different than where we ended up.
I failed to comment when he went silent on the last bit because just talking about his wakeboard company and all sorts of nonsense that he went on with just threw me. I just couldn't think of anything to say.
We're going to meet demand, and the whole goal of the company is to make the world a better place through efficient transportation.
So this one, he's waffling on. The goal of the company, make the world a better place. He's doing everything for the good of everybody else. He's not trying to make 500,000 vehicles.
That's millions of barrels of oil
because it'll make him rich.
That you're taking out. That's compared to other EVs, that's millions of pounds of extra batteries that weren't wasted on big, heavy, inefficient EVs.
Yep, saving the world here.
Totally different way to think about how transportation should work. And we always thought you gotta price it right so people love it. You got to give it all the performance you can so people can find it really useful, and a little inspiration along the way doesn't hurt by making Jason Hill work extra hard to make it sexy and looking and extra functional. So I think we've hit on all those marks, and now we've got to to deliver on the promise. And COVID being in the middle of our plans did help. and we're really still feeling the effects of
Raving
COVID.
on again,
The supply
and
chain,
won't let go of the
is
COVID
just finally
era.
starting to settle down after COVID. And the last 6 months, we've seen just dramatic changes in commodity prices for aluminum, battery cell prices. For high nickel content batteries have dropped through the floor. So
He's all over the
it's
shop,
a
but it's
very
all meaningless.
different place that we live in now than we
He
did 6
still
months ago.
never
And I
gives
think I'm
anything definite.
glad that we've had the extra time and that our community's been supportive of us, kind of doing it the right way. And even though we haven't had that benefactor come to us with $100 million check, that we're still making progress every day. And, the first vehicles are right around the corner, and, production's right around after that corner. So,
Round
I
the
think
corner.
we're in a really good spot.
They're
Even
not in a
though
good spot.
times get stressful over the last 2 years for sure, on how do we make it happen, and feeling the pressure of
This is selling the snake oil.
48,000 people now that have orders for
Yeah,
the Aptera.
47,000 people now. It was
We have a
46,000
great
nearly 4
ballpark
years
down
ago.
here, Petco Park, but it only fits 43,000 people. So we have an overcapacity crowd of people that are waiting for Aptera, and we all feel it here, and we want to deliver as soon as we can. And obviously, the sooner that we're cash flow positive, the sooner all the fundraising stress is off, and then you're just optimizing and trying to build bigger, better volumes and different variants of the vehicle, and talking about four-wheeled Apteras and all sorts of fun stuff. So that's the goal, and I've done that with plenty of other companies. Once you get to cash flow positivity,
He's been a failure
things get a little
probably
brighter. So
9
that's the
times
goal.
out of 10.
Vehicles get to cash
And
flow
this one will
positive
fail
quickly,
again.
and now we're on pace for 2025. So let's make it happen.
On
What
pace
do
for
you say
2025.
about the idea of like, so you originally, when you guys started, you were like, oh, maybe we'll sell like 1,000 of these, maybe 5,000 of these, and I guess you guys were thinking about kind of hand building them one by one down in Carlsbad at that point. Was that what the idea?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it hand building, but
It's hand building.
The tact time of building 3 to
Now, I
5
really
a
did have
day
something to
is
say about this.
different than
Will
building
I fit it
40 or
in?
80 a day.
Right.
Yeah,
So you can
I'm
station build
saying
stuff. That's how
that was
our
a
boats
better
were built
idea. Stick to the
early
composite body,
days. When we were
and
shipping 5 to
you
700
can
boats a year. It was
ramp
just a
up to
station.
large
It had
numbers
2 or 3 guys in the station, and the boat was
simply
just
by
built stem to
having
stern in the station.
more
And
factories
a
building the
shell ended up
composite
there,
bodies
and then they just
with
had a
more
shelf full of
people
parts, and they just
building
installed all those
them
parts until the boat was
compared
done.
to the
Then
factory
you'd
that
go
you
out
have
and
that
run it on a lake and
assembles the
quality check
car.
it, and then you
In other
ship it off to a
words,
dealer.
one
We
factory
could have done that with the
to assemble
Aptera,
the car,
in the composites,
20
very much
factories
so like we
building the
build
composite
boats.
bodies.
But
20,
it's
and all 20
terribly
feed that one factory. That
inefficient.
is a better solution than having
And if you
a
want to scale it, it's very difficult to scale.
carbon fiber
And
body
once we
from
had
Italy.
kind of
A far
10,000,
better solution.
20,000 orders, it was like, how
The
do we
reason why
scale this
they've got
archaic
Italy is because
process into
that's
something
the
that can
place to
deliver,
hide money,
on the mass
and
market
it's also
profits
the
of
place to
Aptera.
delay.
And
And they
it
want
was
to
apparent
delay
that we needed to
as
find new
much
partners.
as
And that's,
possible.
Akosh found CPC. He had a relationship with him before. He worked at Shelby Supercars, and had done amazing projects with them before, and they were just the right fit at the right time. And they just love the promise of solar mobility. I think a lot of what has really gotten us into the good graces of very capable suppliers is that we're so different. Everything else they've worked on could be cool, could be a very sexy sports car, but it ain't solar mobility. It ain't something that looks like the future. Yeah. And I think the executives of these companies, they see a presentation like Aptera and they go, "Oh, wow, yeah. that's cool. I want to be associated with that." So
yeah,
I
think everyone loves the idea and the design and about efficiency and all that. So I think that it's very clear that you guys have a very strong fan base. And look, I started this YouTube channel. I'm not anything of a good YouTuber, but it blew up mainly because of the idea. And so what do you say to the idea of some people saying maybe you should have done the 1,000 vehicles a year, delivered some vehicles, and maybe that would have gotten you funding faster because people would say, oh yeah, this company can deliver a vehicle. What do you say to that?
Well, I've seen other companies make that mistake. And Sandy Monroe, has advised companies like that, and we've seen companies, go public and do, crazy things, and have that be the case. And we thought, with
Well, I
the
think I jumped
expertise
the
of Sandy
gun. I probably
Monroe
should have
and the advice that
mentioned
we've
what I
got
mentioned
from
last in this little
people that have been in the
segment, but
manufacturing game, that
this
if
is
you want to build
turning out to be
50,000
a poor
vehicles a year, you
way
need
of
to
doing things
capitalize
for
the
me.
company, you need to organize the company, you need
I
to
don't think I'll be
design your
trying it this way
manufacturing
again.
plant to build 50,000 vehicles a year. You can ramp it up slowly, but if you don't build with that mindset, if you start building 2 vehicles a day, and then you tell the plant, hey, we're going to scale from 2 vehicles a day to 4 vehicles a day, people are like, that's twice the amount of work. How the hell am I going to do that? I'm already working my butt off to
No, they
build
don't
2 a
say
day.
that.
Now you want to
They
build
say
4 a
get
day? So,
double the
unless
people
you
in.
start with, hey, we're going to
They
build 40 a
don't go, I'm
day,
going to do double the
and
work
this
when I'm
single
already
shift can
flat
build
out.
40 a day,
They
and then we're
say
going to
get
add a
more
second shift
people
that
in.
can do just what you're doing, which is building 40 a day. It's just a very difficult path, and I've seen companies waste millions and millions of dollars because they haven't had the mindset from the beginning to really build at a decent volume that they could get, kind of economies of scale and actually become cash flow positive, and it's just buried them slowly. It's just death by a thousand cuts. You're inefficient with your workforce, you're inefficient with your space, you're not making any money on the final product. Now you've got, kind of a
I
product that
just
people aren't willing to pay a premium
can't
for
believe that he
because it doesn't have enough
is
features.
telling the
But
cretin
oh, we just wanted to start small
how
and we wanted to start
it's
simple and we
got
just
to be
wanted to
done
get vehicles
right
out there.
when
Well,
this
that
is
just
being done
doesn't
as badly
just
as
doesn't
it
mesh
could ever
well
be.
with changing the world. And I think we've been lucky to have great advisors like Sandy Monroe, and Sandy Monroe strongly
Sandy
advised us
Monroe is
to
just a
not
name drop for them.
design a plant to build 2 of these a day, or you will succumb to the pressures that a lot of other startups have succumbed to in the transportation space, and it will bury you slowly, and you will rue the day that you showed me a 2 vehicle a day manufacturing plan.
Okay. All right. So if we see, let's say we see a PI like August, how long are you guys expecting like all the PI testing and validation to take? Is that going to take like 6 months, 8 months, 9 months?
A lot of the initial stuff gets done pretty quick. I mean, the crash lab stuff and that stuff,
And once
it
again,
happens in
he
weeks.
goes on about pretty quick,
It's
but
really some
in
of
the
the
whole
bigger checks
spiel,
that we have to
he
write for, like
doesn't
the
give
ABS
anything
system
definite.
and the airbags
The
and
poor
stuff like
cretins
that.
wanting to know,
That the companies
at
that we
least
have to get on board to do that take a
timelines
long time.
in a particular
So
month.
it sucks that we're
But
kind of
this
beholden to the
guy,
schedules of other
he's got
companies once we have funding and
just
start doing
timelines that you
validation.
can't
But
put a
it's
year
kind of
to
in the 6 to 9 month range.
in the 6 to 9 month range.
Keep in mind that just because we haven't finished all of the
This guy's been
validation with a
promising
supplier doesn't mean we can't ship
to build
vehicles.
whole
So we can add some features
machines
after we've
inside of
shipped the first
9
20
months
or
a
100 or
few times
200.
already. And
You
now
probably
he's
don't want
just
too many
going,
out in
oh,
the field where you have to come
the
back in
testing
and
might take
flash
6 to
them for
9
different
months.
features and stuff. But that is something that we expect. We don't expect like some companies, Ford and GM and Toyota, they would go through every ounce of all of that validation and would never, ship some of their vehicles out until everything is buttoned up. We expect that some of the stuff, the user interface stuff, will evolve rapidly. Start
They were
shipping
doing
our
the
first
user
vehicles,
interface
and the first
last
deliveries
because
and the first
it
accelerators that
was
have some
they
of the
said
early
very
spots.
easy to do,
We're going
quick
to
and
collect
easy to do.
feedback, and
And
they're
now
part of the
they're
family.
going, we'll put the machine out
And the first
and the
vehicles,
public can help us
whether it's something is
find the bugs
squeaking
in the
because
user
we got to put
interface.
a buffer pad on the back of it or something like that. We'll learn all of that stuff very quickly, and it's something that I think is largely expected. But
He's just a bull artist.
With the anxiousness to get vehicles on the road, I think it's just the right approach. We could take the extra 6 months to really button up everything and have an internal test fleet that we put over 2 million miles on and stuff. But I think it's just right that we work with all of our validation partners, and we get the vehicle to a point where we feel it's stable and as safe as it can be. And then some of the other usability stuff is stuff that we sort out over the first couple months. For deliveries, and then it takes us kind of 3 to 6 months to ramp up to rate production anyways. So while we're ramping up to rate production, we can figure out some of those growing pains, problems, and some of the stuff that you just don't learn until vehicles are in people's hands.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, you guys are in a good position in that way because, like, obviously the first several thousand vehicles are going to go to accelerators, and these people are very invested in the success of Aptera, and they'll be willing to help you guys, test it. I think the community will be very supportive of that to get out faster.
Yeah, I mean, we've been super humbled by the amazing support and kind of thinking through problems that our community has done. I mean, we've got community guys out testing the wrap materials and
this is another
New Mexico
ridiculous
weather.
concept.
We've got guys that are thinking through
When people buy cars, they have
software,
nothing to do with
data issues
helping the car
telematics, and we've had
come
a
into
lot of
being
great
at
people
all.
that have just
They have
offered to
zero
help
input.
as we for volume
And
production. And
this
I think it'll be the same when we
backyard
ship
of
our first vehicles.
organisation,
I hope that people
it's
are just ready and
going,
willing to
we need
embrace the
this
first production
helpful
vehicles
community
and
to
something very
half build
minor.
the car for us.
Let's get it
And
fixed.
here I
Let's
am
get it
still
fixed quick.
saying
Let's get a
cars.
change on the assembly line and start to
Half
change every
build the
vehicle.
silly trike.
And I think it's something that
And
Tesla did a
he
pretty
sells
good
it as a
job
good idea.
early on.
It's not. It's
You
better
know,
that
the
nobody
Tesla
has any
Model
input.
S, and I loved it. But from
Except we need
quality
professionals
perspective, if you would
that
compare
make
it
it.
to Toyota or
Yeah,
Ford or
not
GM,
rank amateurs.
the production engineers in
And he's
Detroit were
always
lafted out of the
making
building.
comparisons
But
with
Tesla was
Toyota,
very good at
GM, Ford,
rolling
and Tesla.
changes. And when they discovered
He's not in
something
their
that
league
needed to
at
be
all.
fixed, they would just fix it. If they discovered
I
a
believe his
supplier that
wakeboard
supplied a
boats
better
were
part, a more
inferior
quality
to all
part, they
other
would just switch it.
boats on the market.
And it's something that Detroit
And
was
yet he
not
talks as if
capable
he's
of.
good.
And I think it's something that Tesla really showed the way on that, hey, these lockdown vehicles where you build the same exact vehicle for 5 years, that is not how manufacturing should work. You got to take
He knows better than them.
feedback. You got to make the product continually better. Some of the Toyota manufacturing methods of continual improvement. And I think Tesla's exemplified that in a lot of ways. And, they've proven to be, with the Model Y, the most popular vehicle in the world now in sales. Who would have thought a decade ago that the Tesla Model Y would be
Nobody,
the
because a
best-selling
decade
vehicle in
ago
the
there
world?
wasn't a Model Y
Pundit,
to think about.
Industry analyst, no one would have said that.
Yeah.
But here we are. So, Sandy Monroe agrees with that philosophy, and it's something that he fought in Detroit, all the time. Their stodginess just wouldn't allow them to fix things. So we want to make the Aptera product better every day. We want to embrace the aftermarket, so we can have great accessories and support for the vehicle. We want to let people know how their vehicle works. So if they want to make it better or make a product to make it better, then they just know. And I think that's kind of in the Aptera spirit and the way we want to build a company. So.
Yeah. So you're kind of designing the factory to be just very nimble in the supply chain, so that you can make changes fairly easily.
They're designing a factory to make nothing. Well, I blew that, I think.